Super Mega Podcast!
Hey guys, it's Charlie here from Super Mega Podcast, but I'm not alone today. I'm joined by the lovely people at White Paper Games, and they're working on Ether 1 at the minute. So, to dive right in, what is Ether 1?
Hey, morning, Charlie. So Ether 1 is a first-person adventure game dealing with the fragility of the human mind. That's the kind of PR spin, I guess, that we open up with. And like going deeper into that, it's just an exploration narrative adventure game with multiple paths. So it's got optional puzzle solving in there, and so nothing is you don't have to do puzzles to progress through the game. They're optional, so that you get rewarded with the more narrative path throughout.
I mean, I obviously backed you guys on Greenlit way back now. Seems like forever ago, to be honest.
Yeah.
But obviously, a lot of work's gone on since then. How far into development are you? How long has it been taking you to get this far?
The concept of Ether came about 3 years ago, and then we started developing the team about 2 years ago. So we were working from home and prototyping ideas for a year as a team of 6, and then it's only actually last year. I mean, it feels like a lifetime ago. It's only last I think it was January or February that we actually went up onto Greenlit, and then we had our trailer, and that hit. It got really popular, and then we got voted through Greenlit, with thanks to people like you for believing in our project. And then since then we just spent the year just understanding exactly what the game is, and making sure everything feels right in there, and we've just been polishing it off for the last couple of months, and we're ready to release in 2 weeks.
I suppose that 2 weeks is going to come around pretty quick.
We just put our Steam page live yesterday, and now it's got a big countdown timer, and so it's like now the minutes are counting down, so like no pressure.
Big ominous clock there.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, one thing that drew me to Ether 1 on Greenlit, I feel like Greenlight's a bit of a minefield sometimes, because there's been a lot of success stories on Greenlight, projects that draw me in and make me want to get involved and play them, something that is just a little bit different, and that's what I feel comes from Ether 1. I loved the trailer. I thought the trailer was amazing, by the way, because I like reading through a lot of the questions that people have been asking you guys, and one that actually really drew me in was like someone who asked about if there was combat. There wasn't really any combat. It's more like you said, it's about the human mind. It's about exploration and puzzle solving. But another thing that I thought was really interesting is what you said about the multiple pathways, multiple options. It just feels like the sort of game that you can really commit to, and it's really replayable. So that for me what drew me in. But what sort of inspirations did you guys take?
Okay, so I'll just give you my inspiration, then I'm sure NJ can give you his spin on it. But for me, it came down to accessibility when I was designing the game, and like when I was growing up playing video games. I used to play with my mum. I used to play Myst, and we used to have this notepad.
Myst is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And I was too young to understand most of what was going on, but we had like writing down clues and stuff like that. And she really enjoyed those types of games, and it's something we could connect with, like talking about. And then whenever she would see me playing Half-Life or Doom, she'd be like, "Oh, could I ever go?" And then just failed completely. Wasn't accessible to her. She wanted that type of experience, the more AAA experience, I guess you would call it. But so the thing with Ether 1 is that we wanted to have change of pace. So when this podcast goes live, you'll see the latest trailer, which shows that kind of stuff. It has the exciting elements, but it also deals with real human things, and it is something, like you say, that you can invest your time in. So I really one thing I like about Myst is you can slowly decrypt the puzzles, and it's slow burning, and I didn't want people to necessarily get stuck on puzzle solving. I didn't want it, you know, like if you're playing a puzzle game, it's like, right, I'm stuck at this puzzle, I can't progress. You turn it off and you may never switch it on again. And different people's minds work in different ways, and you have to account for that. And rather than making the game easier and, you know, having that kind of curve of easier puzzles at the start and then hard towards the end, so it's like the progression, instead of doing that, I can make all puzzles interesting and complex and however I want to present them, but it is optional at the same time. So you can approach it in the world and you can maybe pick apart a bit of a puzzle. If you can't do it, you can always move on. And there's still an underlying narrative that goes through the game. And it's been really great because, for example, if you watch a movie and miss 70% of the content, it's like, right, what was that movie about? But from our playtesters, people have only been doing like 20-30% of the game sometimes, playing for 4 or 5 hours, getting the core narrative path. And I was asking them, it's like, do you feel like you got a complete experience? And everyone's like, yeah, like I know I missed out on a heck of a lot, but that was such an interesting story. I felt they felt really rewarded from the story, and so that was a huge relief design-wise. I wanted the Myst-style decryption, but I also wanted a rich narrative experience. And I apologise for any drilling that's going on in the back as well. Some builders next door which conveniently decided to start drilling, so I apologise about the noise.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're not the only ones cracking them with a bit of work today, I see.
Yeah, so
you picked up on everything that we really want people to pick up on, actually, when you were describing how you thought the game came across from the last trailer. And we're really excited to show people the new one because, like as Pete said, it has the same elements as the trailer before, but we've really refined what the game is about in this trailer, so people have a greater understanding. And the whole different styles of puzzles, different difficulties of puzzles, and people was talking about you play some games and the puzzles are easy, then they get harder, and then they get harder. And obviously, everyone's mind thinks differently, so a hard puzzle to one person is an easy puzzle to another, and the other way around. It's really been fun, whilst making the game, trying to make the environment, which, as you said, doesn't have any enemies, doesn't have any combat, trying to make the environment of the game fun to be in and enriching to be in, and you want to walk around it, and you literally just want to see what's around the corner the whole time and explore the world, so that while you are doing puzzles, or just having a narrative experience, it's always a fun place to be in. That's really driven me to make more interesting music, because we haven't gone down a very generic soundtrack path with it. I suppose people understand that when they start to play the game, and if they do a second playthrough, they'll understand it more as well.
I think from an audio standpoint, like from sound design, even just in the trailers,
yeah.
I think the sound design for just the trailers. I wanted to talk about the teaser as well.
Okay.
Distill it down just to a core concept, just from a sound design perspective as well. I just think it works so well. I mean, that could be a AAA title, trailer for me. And another thing, going back to inspirations, was it just reminded me of the Bruce Willis film 12 Monkeys.
Yeah.
And the kind of exploration between kind of faceless voices almost, higher ups.
Yeah.
For the teaser, how did you go about kind of designing that, just distilling it down?
It was really we still wanted to show gameplay, and to a large part it is still gameplay, and we just took one of the when we release the trailer in a couple of days, probably it'll probably become more clear, but we wanted this teaser to almost lead into the next trailer and to kind of follow into the game, so that people understand.
Just launching off that narrative.
Yeah, basically, and you picked up on something like, again, immediately, the faceless different hierarchies and the position, people above you giving you orders and things like that, or because there aren't any NPCs in this game running around with guns or giving you orders or anything like that you'll see. But there is a lot of character throughout the whole story, and there are different characters, and they're really strong, we think. And people have picked up in that in playtesting as well. And I'm really actually, it's the first time we've really heard someone mention the teaser in that way. And you've taken from it exactly what we tried to put through it. So it's really good. But it leads on to the next trailer. And from a sound design point of view, I just wanted to show the kind of grandeur of the place that you're in. And then there's just that one line that's in the game. It's "Are you ready?" It speaks for itself. But you picked up on exactly what we wanted to achieve with it. Yeah.
I think, like I say, I absolutely love that trailer. It's succinct, it's to the point. Like I say, it illustrates really well, I feel, the core concept of it. And even, obviously, like I say, I've been following the project for a little while now. For people who aren't, I feel that's a good, like you said, it's a good sort of jumping off point. Like they could watch that and then lead quite nicely into. Yeah. I think it's, like I say, I think it's really well made. But one of the key parts of all the trailers and all the artwork that I've seen is just the really high standard that's gone into the artwork. Talk to us a bit about that, because quite frankly, I think it looks phenomenal.
I wish our artist was here at the moment. He's just getting straight into the studio because he likes to work late. But
he's locked into.
Yeah, like our main artist, Oliver Farrell, he's just done a really, really good job with creating the world. It's a lot of back and forth between the level design and the environment art. I'm the level designer, and so we work constantly back and forth, like moving buildings around, and the main thing is creating this rich world, and it definitely feels like a world. Everyone that's playtested just said, it feels like a real place, and that's what I wanted to create. Whether you're in Dunwall from Dishonored or City 17, Half-Life, like those are the games that I really love because it feels like you're in a place, and that's how we've been inspired to create Pinwheel. And hopefully people will see Pinwheel as a real place when they play the game. But as far as the artwork goes, he's just like... we started off with the limitation of, right, we have one artist, we have a big game to make. How do we go about creating a big game with one artist? And we decided to do, the hand-painted approach because it's quicker to implement when painting the world. And then also the low poly art style gave us a good art direction for what we wanted to create, and he was quickly able to produce the assets for the world, and it kind of like from there, and him and his skills have just totally skyrocketed over the last 2 years as well. Like if you look at his work from 2 years ago, even though consistency in a game, obviously if you're improving over 2 years, you might start seeing it looks like 5 different artists worked on this game, different styles, but he's just kept the high quality just consistent, and hopefully when people play they'll feel like it's a rich world.
So, talking about that, you were mentioning the AAA feel to it, or the high quality feel to it. I mean, when we started out working, in our bedrooms all separately, and it's like, right, what's the idea we've got? Right, I want a massive tower, and I want it to look like this, and someone else is like, right, it's going to turn like this, and then right, I'll make the sound for it, and it'll sound like this. Everyone puts a lot into it, and it's all very cool, and everyone goes, oh, this is cool. But the second we all got into the studio together and we all started to work together, everybody can see everybody's monitor, hear every sound that everyone makes, see everything that everyone does, and if somebody doesn't like something, they'll put their 2 pence in immediately. Someone go, you know what, I think that one of the ones we've been arguing a lot about at the moment, the sea being too blue. Honestly, if someone doesn't like it, they'll say it. And I think we've all grown so much in the way that someone will just, there was a quote, wasn't there? Was it Neil Druckmann who said that there's not enough time to be polite?
Yeah. Have you seen the Last of Us documentary? It's sometimes, you've not got enough time to be polite. You just have to be direct, and that's definitely...
And everyone respects everyone's opinion, because we all understand that even if we're not designing the thing that's being shown on the screen at the time, we're all going to play it, or we all do play things, and we all have a valid input to it. And yeah, like things like the sea's too blue. It's like, well, okay, how blue do you want the sea? Right, let's all look at the sea, right? You know, and everybody goes around, and if I make a sound, you've told me Pete has told me on several occasions that sounds rubbish. Like, you know, there was one just an anchor sound falling onto some wood, and again, that sounds rubbish, and I know it's rubbish. Right, I've got to do it again. There will be things that we put into the game that will be done right the first time, and people just go, wow, that's amazing. But we don't just ever go, right, that's done next, right, that's done next. I think quality control has been a huge...
Yeah, it's like going back to that question that you say, what have you been doing for the last 2 years? Like, it feels like forever. It's like we've probably built 4 versions of Ether in the time of this game. It's like just, like, especially if, for example, we're basing our game loosely around a Cornish environment, right? So we've got a harbour setting, and harbours traditionally aren't interesting gameplay spaces, and I've redesigned the harbour literally 5 times, just built an art to the harbour, and it's like, that is not interesting, just delete the entire thing. We've got a running joke like, oh, we redesigned the harbour today. It's like a huge part of the game, and we've just cut it if it hasn't felt right, so... Yeah. Well,
I suppose, like you said, because the game is so exploration focused, and you know, you want to put as much quality into the environments as possible. When, like you say, there's no combat of any kind, there's no NPCs. It's literally just exploring, you know, this interesting world. But something that I do feel comes across very well, in fact, is that it is a collaborative project. It doesn't seem to be like one person leading it, and it's really nice to hear that, you know, like you say, it's obviously in a perfect world everyone gets, you know, full voice on all projects, but more often than not you find that there's someone leading the way, so it's really nice to hear, obviously, that you guys have this really clear sort of shared vision for how the game will turn out. I think it really comes across as well.
I think that's nice. It's nice. That's nice that you can see that. I think like Pete is a huge driving force of the whole project. But like you say, yeah, everybody has their disciplines. Everybody has their skills to add, and they all come together really nicely, I think.
All right. Well, like I say, you know, 2 weeks is going to fly by, I suppose. So I'll let you guys crack on with a bit of work. But tell us, tell us the socials. Where can people find out more about Ether1?
So, I mean, the easiest place to reach us is just at White Paper Games on Twitter, and you can hashtag Ether1. I'm just constantly refreshing that, and it's great to just chat to people. It's the easiest platform to talk on. You can also go on ether-game.com when this video goes live. We'll have our new release trailer, and pre-orders will be up on GOG and the Humble widget through our website, and then on March the 25th Ether will be released on Steam, GOG, Humble and Gamersgate. So yeah, and Facebook is just White Paper Games Facebook as well.
Exciting stuff. I suppose, like I say, it's an exciting time to look forward to, you know, finally releasing Ether upon the world.
Yep.
But thank you very much for talking to me, Pete and MJ.
Well, thanks for chatting with us, Charlie. And if you ever want to do any kind of follow-up, you know, once we've released the game and you've had time to play it and think about the direction, we'd love to chat to you about it.
I will definitely hold you to that. So that's going in the video. So,
yeah.
But thank you very much, guys. Have a good
one. All right, thanks a lot, Charlie. You too.
Charlie.
Cheers.
Bye.